How's it going, everybody? Showing my PlayStation 5 collection vid here today. This is the first vid I had done on this channel when I redid this channel. That was back in September 8th. I have added, I think, 9 or 10 games since then, so I figured I'd do an updated one. For 25, maybe, end of the year, I might do another one if I have another 10, 15 games. Who knows? I am focusing on PlayStation 5 and the original Xbox in terms of getting games for them. Obviously the PS5, because that's the console I've been playing the most. These might be going backwards in alphabetical order, actually. But first one is Uncharted, the Remastered Collection. So you got a Thief's End and a Lost Legacy in here. That was it was just a standalone DLC for Uncharted 4 with Chloe and Nadine. That's why I got this. It was on sale. I think I had a gift card from Best Buy and it was on sale, so I think I ended up getting it for like $10. I think it was $20 on sale and I had a $10 card. Pretty cool. I got it for the Lost Legacy and I played some of it and it was cool. It looks fantastic. Obviously Uncharted 4 was really good as well. This doesn't add anything other than haptic feedback and adaptive triggers and better visuals, if you want to say it. These games already look incredible to begin with. For me personally, maybe I don't have the eye for it. You can tell differences between PS5 and PS4, or I don't have a Series X or S, but I feel like those systems still look great. Like, I'll get a new game for like the Xbox One, or a game, not a new game, but a game I haven't played, boom, throw it in. I'm like, this still looks fantastic. Like, there's not a big enough thing for me personally anymore. But yes, there's plenty of awesome looking games on the PS5. But Uncharted, Siberia, the World Before, 20 year edition. This comes with a B. Sokol. He's the one that came up, and I think he passed away, but I don't even know when. It might have been a little while or not. But this has artwork from like all of the games up until this one. So there's another 3. You're Kate Walker in these games. I believe she's a lawyer, and she comes in the first one to help out with the guy who made the automatons and stuff. And it goes from there. They're point-and-click games, mystery games. I've played the first one 3 and this one. I played some of the second one. I have them both on Steam. The original one I played back on the original Xbox, but I think it was originally a PC game, and then they ported it over. They're cool games. I don't know. She's a good character. This one you actually play as what's her name here? It should say it on the back. Dana Rose. So you're playing in like her time, which is supposed to be during like World War II, except it has like real world stuff, but also not real world stuff, which is weird. But you flip back from her to Kate Walker, and you're finding out the mystery of, is she related to Kate Walker? Is Kate Walker related to her, I should say? And then sometimes it helps with puzzles because you go to the same areas. So you'll all of a sudden flash back to using Donna Rose, and you'll be like, oh, look, she put this under a floorboard. And then as Kate Walker, it's under the floorboard, and you do that. Kind of cool, pretty good story. The voice acting's all good. It looks really nice. I will say I went back and actually played 3. I had 3 on the Xbox One, but I hadn't played it. I got it for like $6 or something. And then after playing this one, I was like, I'm going to go back and play it. Threw it in, and you do see the graphical jump between this and that one, for sure. But that one still looks fine, but you do see the graphical jump in some cases. And this is one of them. This is a really cool point-and-click adventure game, a throwback, if you will. Pick it up. If this is fairly cheap. I think when I got it, it was $20. I think this is the only version you can get, which is cool. It has a nice slipcover and this nice little book that is the game's case as well. There's another game, I guess a remaster of one of his old games. I never played it. I forget what it's called. Coming out soon. Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I've talked about this. I think I did a review on my ASMR channel of this one. I liked it well enough. I think it's a downgrade from Fallen Order. I don't think there was enough. I probably talked about this when I did the other PlayStation 5 collection video on this channel. It is just not I feel like they cut down the planets. Like there's not enough huge planets to explore. The one he doesn't even really end up being the main bad guy. I guess he's like a secondary bad guy in this game. He was a cool character, but they did not do enough with him. Cal Kestis is still a cool character. The end world, like you only want to get to this. The other guy, he was another Jedi, kind of went rogue or whatever, and this was like during the High Republic, I think. So maybe it's like 100 years or 200 years before, like, I guess the events of the original trilogy. I forget. But he was in like a cryo-freeze type thing, and he comes out and he wants to still find this, like, there's like this planet, hidden planet or some shit. And he wants to bring Jedis there to train him and stuff. And then there was friction. You get cutscenes of that, like flashbacks. You get to this planet at the end, and it's like literally 5 minutes. I was so pumped to explore this place, and it's like you're on it for 5 minutes. You fight the other bad guy because you have a different crew in the beginning of this than the first one. It's like, oh, these people are all cool. Spoilers here, they all bite it except one dude. And there's a twist there in the end of the game, but you don't go to enough planets. The one planet's cool where you come across Greasy again. You do come across your old people, the old friends or whatever from the Fallen Order. You come across them, and Greasy's on this cool planet. He runs a bar, but you have to do stuff for him. You can collect fish to put in the bar's aquarium. You're finding other people out on this planet, bringing them back. That was really cool. There wasn't enough of that. It was just that on that planet. The other planet where the other Jedi are hanging out collecting the Jedi books or whatever is a pretty cool planet too. But those are the only two big ones you explore. You're on Coruscant in the beginning and you can go back, but it's a small area. There's a meteor kind of base and a star base or whatever. Not enough planets to explore, in my opinion. Combat's still fun. There's a part where you use Sayre to fight Vader, and I've talked about this a million times on this channel. The other channel, I think I've talked about it on this channel as well, where Vader, his mystique and everything has been destroyed over the years. He pretty much gets his ass kicked by like basic stormtroopers at this point. But you fight him in this, and you like kind of like Vader kind of escapes, like you jab through, but you just miss him. You hit the wall next to him. Dude, these in the Fallen Order, it was cool. You fight him at the underground base, and the Inquisitor's underground base. You fight him there briefly, and he just dominates. I don't know why he didn't do that again in this one. But anyway, whatever. Like I said, still a decent game, but a downgrade from Fallen Order, in my opinion. Silent Hill 2 Remake, incredible. I mean, people were concerned about this game when it came out, and some people still grumble about it, but the overwhelming majority loved this game. It reviewed well. The users loved it. I loved it as a massive. Silent Hill 2 is my favorite game ever. And they did it justice. A Bloober team did this one justice. I know they've had a kind of shaky track record. The voice acting is obviously better in this one than the original. Some of the cutscenes don't have the same impact in this one than the original, and some are better than the original. The facial animations from the mocap actors and the voice actors in this game is incredible. Like, there's just so much storytelling in like James's face and Angela's face, Eddie, all the side characters, everybody. Like, there's so much going on there. Like the video game awards came and went, but Silent Hill 2 I don't think got nominated, didn't get it nominated for anything, which everybody was like, what? The dude who, or maybe he was, the dude who plays James should have been. I don't know if he actually was, maybe he was. His performance was incredible, and just the game's still creepy. They still holds up. All the monsters look great. Some stuff has changed, and there's little memories you can find where you go to a place where you got, like, for example, in the beginning where you get the radio that will warn you when enemies are close. You don't get it in the same spot as the original, but when you go to the spot you did get it at, it does a little, like the camera pans out a little noise, and it's just, that happens a few times throughout the game where there's a puzzle they got rid of, and you see where it was and stuff. Still super creepy. It's longer than the original, which is cool, but it doesn't overstay its welcome. There's a few parts, especially the Otherworld Hospital, where the enemies get a little annoying, and it's like, ooh, I was getting nervous. I was like, don't tell me this is going to turn into an enemy fest, and thankfully it really didn't, because people were like, oh, it gets really bad in the underground prison. It actually wasn't that bad in the underground prison at all, and there were a decent amount of enemies in the first one to the original, don't get me wrong, and they worked out the combat. It's better in this one as well. I loved it. It looks great. It's just a fantastic game. For me, the best game story ever. Akira Yamaoka is back with the soundtrack on this one too, and some of the stuff is, The songs are like redid, you like added parts and stuff. Really cool, and the sound design is incredible in this game. It really is. It's a fantastic game. Play it if you haven't and you like survival horror. I did a review of this recently on my other channel, RoboCop Rogue City. Underrated game, in my opinion. I mean, they another instance where they did a great job with this license with RoboCop. It's got the feel and vibe of the old RoboCop movies. It takes place, I guess, after 2, because Lewis is in this one. Spoilers. She dies in RoboCop 3, I believe. So she's in this, so I'd assume they either disregarded that one or it's just set before it. It's really cool. He obviously plays RoboCop. Peter Weller is the voice here, which is cool. He does a great job. Some of the other voice acting is a little weak. Some of it's good. Some of it's just average. A lot of characters from those movies are here or brought up. All the areas look, the precinct looks like the precinct from RoboCop and everything. You go to the arcade, all these other places from RoboCop and RoboCop 2. There's side stuff you can do. I talked about actually, it was in my other vid. I don't know if I talked about it on this one. Maybe I did, actually. Did I do it? Yeah, I did it, what I've been playing. I believe on here, right, where I talked about it. The impact and the sounds of the weapons in this game is some of the best I've heard. It is fantastic. It's got the satire and the feel of the movies, and some of the dark humor is in there as well. There's side stuff you can do. There's little upholding the peace or upholding the law stuff you can do, where you're giving out tickets to cars parked in front of fire hydrants, or someone's drunk, you give them a citation or whatever. So it's got that kind of stuff in there. I probably did 12, 13, maybe 15 hours of it. Didn't outstay its welcome. A lot of fighting. Ed 209's in here. RoboCop 2 is in here as well. I won't tell you who uploaded their kind of mind to it or whatever, but it's definitely a really cool game. It looks pretty good. It's not like top of the line, but it looks solid. Play this game. It's a good shooter, and you can get talent points, and you're upgrading different abilities, armor, combat, vitality, engineering, and stuff. Things you'd have to use throughout the game at points. It's really cool. It's a cool game, and you're finding random things because you get graded at the end of each mission or whatever, and you get different. You can find like fake IDs and fake money, counterfeit money, and stolen purses and stuff like that. It gives you little experience points and stuff. And you also, with your gun, you get these chips. It's a cool little mini game actually, where you have to put you find these chests throughout that have these parts you got to use, and you get the little chip, and you get added ammunition, higher power, armor piercing, whatever it may be. But you got to put the right things in to avoid these negative things that will give you like negative things. So you're trying to get your stats up as high as possible on this chip without having any negatives, and you get some also like gore bonus and stuff. Really cool game. Resident Evil 2. This was gifted to me, as another game was as well, by the same person. So thank you again to Bubby, who got these for me. I had played this on the Xbox One, but I saw they put them all out. This one, 3, 4 already come out. Resident Evil Gold Edition as well, for like $30. I'm actually playing it now and enjoying it again. It's a fantastic remake. It's just such a good remake. You use Leon and Claire here. You can use them. You play them both. I'm playing as Leon now. After I beat it, I'll go to Claire, same as I did in the other one. Ghost Survivor is a little bonus game where you try to escape with people that had died in the original, right? Or this one as well. But that's what would have happened if they lived. You do play Zeta Wong briefly. It's classic Resident Evil, except you can move and shoot in this one. You couldn't do that in the original. But you're going around. It's like this is like point and click as well. You're going around, and it's a horror game. It's creepier than the original too, in my opinion. So you got to deal with everything. You got is it the tyrant in this one? The guy that's just chasing you and you can't take him out, or Mr. X? Did they call it? Is it the tyrant in the first one? This one's just like Mr. X or whatever. The Lickers are in this one. Regular zombies and other monsters you come across in the sewers and stuff. It goes from the police station to the sewers to the Umbrella Lab. Just a great game. Looks really good. Plays well. You got to manage your inventory as always and stuff. It's a classic game. And this is a better remake than 3. The 3 remake just kind of made it. I liked it, but they made it too much of like an action movie. They went back to the kind of spirit of the remake of this one with 4. This one's awesome though. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. This is the first game I got for the PS5. Colorful, fantastic game. The Ratchet and Clanks are great. You use Ratchet here and It should say it on the back. Rivet. They're both Lombaxes. He's looking for a Lombax, and Clank in the beginning gives him this transdimensionator thing or whatever it is. So he can go to other dimensions and maybe find other Lombaxes, and of course Nefarious gets it. And you go from there, and that's kind of the hook. It's like there's little broken up pieces of dimension thing where you can kind of grab and shoot through. Clank does stuff in this as well. You're using both characters, and it looks great. The weapons are fantastic as always. It's just a cool game. Pretty funny as well. All the voice acting is great. I've not beaten it, though. But it's always good. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. I picked this up because it was like $15. I have not opened it yet, but this is a side-scroller. Prince of Persia. It's supposed to be pretty good. But like I said, it was cheap, so I grabbed it, but I have not opened it yet. Midnight Suns, Marvel Midnight Suns. I played some of this. This is a turn-based strategy game around like a grid and stuff. Not really a grid, but you know what I'm talking about, like grid, or you have a certain amount of spaces you can go, or sometimes in these games you have like a meter that runs out, but you can run around all over the place. You're using Marvel characters. You've got Wolverine here, Spider-Man, Iron Man. This is your character in the middle. You could customize him however you want in the beginning. Blade, you've got is that the Scarlet Witch and Ghost Rider. You get different characters from the Marvel universe and stuff. It's pretty cool from what I played of it. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. So this is the sequel to Yakuza Like a Dragon. So you're back as Ichiban. You also have what is his name? Kiru, sorry, in this. I'm not fully. Kazuma Kiru is also here as well in your party. You start off in Japan again, and all of a sudden shit goes south for you, and you gotta leave. Namba's there in the beginning, so is Sayako, or I don't know how to say her name, and the old guy. I forget the old guy's name. He's there too. Your buddy's from the first one. But you have to leave because you get screwed. I'm not going to get into all that. I haven't played a ton of it. And then you go to Hawaii and you're trying to figure out what's going on. And you're looking for your mother as well. This guy here, I don't know. I forget his name too. Where is he? There, he's there. I'm sure you're going to have other party members as well. It's a turn-based game this time instead of the other, Yakuzas and stuff. It's fun though from what I played. I need to get back into it. Hogwarts Legacy. This is one other one in my collection. My fiance got these for Christmas off Amazon, and sometimes on Amazon you get the cheaper version of a game. If it's the PAL version, sometimes it's cheaper. It obviously plays completely well. It's the same thing. It just has this, which I talked about. I enjoy the M more than this. You see the M there, but the back has this, which is awesome on the PAL version. Little things like here, like, oh look, there's violence, and they have a fist. Transactions, here's your credit card. They don't do this on this one. It doesn't have that. It just tells you the stuff that's in it. So the back is better. But Hogwarts Legacy, completed this one a couple of weeks ago. I didn't do every side thing, but a pretty cool game. I think they did a good job with it. The open world's not too huge, and for me these days, I like that. The story is you can create your character, and then your character knows how to use ancient magic. In the beginning, stuff happens. You go to Hogwarts with your professor. You're a 5th year though, starting in Hogwarts, and the things that suck is that there was enough stuff to do in the classrooms in this game. Like a lot of people say, like bully and stuff. Like they don't have enough of that stuff in this one. Maybe in the second one I'll have more of it. And some of the side stuff gets a little tedious after a while. There's Merlin trials you can do, and the spell stuff in this is great. When you get new spells, you learn new spells, and using them, you got to use Protego, and some of the enemies have different Protego, so you got to use a spell that corresponds with the shield they're using. The spells are all fun to use. Incendio, Flipendo. You can do the unforgivable curses on here. Those will break through any Protego. You can do Protego yourself, obviously, but that's not a spell you learn. You just hit triangle, I think it is, and puts up the shield. What is there? What did I say? There's Bombarda. There's tons of spells. I'm trying to think of the other ones. Stupefy. Stupefy you use, I think, after you counter a shot with Protego. You can use Stupefy. Expelliarmus, that's the one, the disarm one. There's a lot of spells. Reparo, you know, you're using all these throughout the environment. You got to use a lot with the Merlin Trials as well. But the combat's fun. Like, the combat's really fun in this game. There's tons of side stuff. Some of the side quests are pretty cool. Like I said, there's a ton of stuff. You're finding you're doing the astronomy stuff as side quests. There's battle arenas. Game looks really nice. The music's good. Voice acting is overall solid. You get a broom at some point. You flying around your broom. You're doing some time trials with that. Decent amount of side stuff in here. There's treasure vaults you get into and stuff like that. Cool, overall, really cool game. Here's a fantastic game, one of my favorite on the system, Ghostwire Tokyo. Deluxe Edition. You, in the beginning of this, you're in Tokyo. Obviously, in the beginning, this thing happens, and all of a sudden, everybody's spirits go out of their bodies. They all disappear. Except you, the spirit latches onto you real quick. That's how you use your combat. So you're getting different combat stuff you can use. Wind-related, fire, I think water-related. And trying to figure out what happened and stuff and who did what. It's in first person. It's a really cool game. Looks nice. The spell effects and stuff are cool. These gates here, I forget what they're called. Does it say it on the back? No. I've heard these gates are called. You break those up and it expands more of the environment. And there's side stuff to do there as well. You're getting stuff to upgrade your powers and shit like that. You're finding stuff. There's side stuff to do. It's a really fantastic game. I'm trying not to talk too much in all these games, but check this out. This is a really good game. Final Fantasy XVI. I got to go back to playing this. I played a bunch of it, but it's good. A lot of people compare this to like a Game of Thrones type Final Fantasy, and it kind of is. I have not watched Game of Thrones outside of the first episode, but I know enough about it. You play as, oh god, what's his name? Does it say it here? No. Oh, I forget his name, but Clive. It says it here. There you go, Clive. In the beginning, you fight with, you know, they call them icons in this one, but they've been called summons or aeons, whatever they've been called throughout the course of the series. But you actually play as them. Like, there are certain people that can use them, and they're attached to you. And you're having these fights, like you're Ifrit, and you're fighting, I can't even remember, the Titan, whatever his name is. You fight Shiva. I forget what the Phoenix guy is called. That's your brother. There's twists and turns along the way. The combat's fun. It's kind of like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth or 12 combat, but a little different. You only use Clive. You'll have other people fighting with you from time to time, but you're only using Clive. And you're getting different abilities and stuff like that. It looks nice. So, I can't remember something else. The icons' names. Bahamut is in here as well. All of them are here. I forget all their names, but they're all here. I got to go back to this because this actually is a really cool game. And the music's great, as always, with these Final Fantasies. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Awesome game. This and Silent Hill 2 and Ghostwire Tokyo are my top 3 for the PS5 so far. This is awesome, obviously. It's the second part of the Final Fantasy VII Remake. You're Cloud. You do play as Zack here briefly, and then you do play as Sephiroth very briefly. But you have your crew, Aerith, Tifa, Barrett, Kate Sith. Is it Yuffie? Somebody else too, isn't there? Is there one other person? I'm forgetting. You drive around this truck. The game world looks awesome. There are tons of things to do in this game. The Queen's Blood side game, which apparently wasn't in the original one back on the PlayStation, is awesome. There's a whole side quest to that, and then you can just play people and stuff. Combat's fun. It's classic. You got, Chadley's still here, so you get the whatever they're calling them in this one, the summons or whatever. You're using them and stuff. Just the combat's fun. It's an awesome game. I can go on and on. I think I did a review on this on the other channel as well. I can't wait for part 3. This one's great because it opens up the main world as opposed to the first one where you're just stuck in Midgard. This one opens up the main world, so you're going all over the place. It's super fun. It's an awesome game. Like, I got to a point when you get Sid and you have the plane, and then it turns into a boat because it gets destroyed. And all of a sudden, I'm like, I guess we're hitting endgame territory here. It's like, nope, here's a ton of more side quests and stuff, and little mini games when you go to the resort and stuff. There's a ton going on in this game. It's freaking awesome. Forspoken. Played a little bit of this. I forget her name. What is her name? It should say it here. Frey Holland. You start off in New York City and you get grabbed by this thing on your wrist and you go to a fantasy world and it talks to you. She's a cool character. I thought the game, from what I played, the game world was a little too empty for me. I'm hoping if I go back to it, there's more cities and stuff. I don't know. But the combat was pretty fun and stuff like that. But I need to get back into it. Dredge, haven't opened this yet. This is like a Cthulhu, I think, horror fishing type game. It's supposed to be pretty good. A lot of people told me it's good. Deathmark 2, Spirit Hunter Volume 3. The first Deathmark and NG are the other two, which I have, one on the Switch and then one on the Vita. You're back as whatever his name is here. It doesn't say. I forget his name. You use him in Deathmark, and characters from Deathmark are also in here as well, helping you out. But you're pretending to be a professor or teacher in this school. And this ghost is like, there's urban legends going around. This other ghost is bringing other ghosts and stuff. And you got to combat them in different ways and answer questions a certain way and stuff. This one has a little more gameplay than the other two. It's a solid kind of visual horror novel with some gameplay in there as well. It's a cool game, which I'm towards the end of, and I do need to finish it. And occasionally you can bring somebody along with you and stuff. Dead Space Remake, this was okay, but this is another one like Jedi Survivor I was a little disappointed in, especially compared to like Silent Hill 2. Because this was too much of the same. They didn't add enough new stuff. Some of the gameplay elements are better and stuff, but they didn't add enough new things. So I found myself being annoyed by the things I was annoyed by in the original, but they annoyed me more here because I already dealt with them back then. Dead Space is still a fantastic game. The combat's great. The atmosphere is great. Isaac does talk in this one. He did not talk in the original. He talked in 2 and 3, but the original Dead Space he didn't. And they had a few more areas, I think, too. But there was just not enough new stuff. Like, it was a fine game, but it was too much like the original. And I was like, I want something a little different. I want it to be different enough to where it's worth it. But it still looks good. And it's not a bad game by any stretch. It's just, I don't know. Combat's still super fun, though. Deathloop, didn't play a ton of this. Picked it up because it was cheap. He plays this dude. I forget his name. I think he might use her as well. But you keep, like, every time you die, it loops over, so you can go back and figure it out or whatever. So it seemed alright so far, but like I said, it's one of these ones that kind of is going to get put on the back burner. Some games just end up getting put on the back burner. Final Fantasy, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion, so this is like a remaster. I don't know if this is a full remake of this. Is originally a PSP game. This is the other one that has the Peggy 16 PAL version. I think you play Zack in this one. I guess Cloud and Sephiroth are there too, in their time in Soldier. I guess you're doing stuff there and stuff like that. I got it because I want to know more about the world of Final Fantasy VII. I never played the original outside of picking up at garage sales years later and testing and playing for a couple of hours. Never had it back when it came out because I had a Nintendo 64. Now, this is the other gift. Thank you again. Atari 50th anniversary. I played some of this, popped it in. Played some Food Fight, played some Super Breakout. I played something else too, I forget which one. Turbo Sub. They have Atari Lynx games here, 2600, 5200, 7800, the Atari 800 computer. The Jaguar has stuff on here too, and it's cool because it has interviews and stuff with like people who made some of the games. I think some of the people that helped build the system itself and fans and stuff like that. It's really cool. I want to play more of it. This is kind of cool. You just throw it in, you watch an interview clip or something, or a story, or you just play some games briefly. It's a nice change of pace. Assassin's Creed Mirage. This has art cards or whatever in it. It should tell you on the back. Nope. It tells you 3 lithographs and the Baghdad map. I like this game, honestly. This was a throwback to the originals where it was a smaller environment, still big enough, but it felt like the first couple of games. Like, I loved Assassin's Creed Odyssey, but it was too big. It felt just like an open world cool game. It did not feel like Assassin's Creed. Origins 2 felt a little more like Assassin's Creed, but it still had a massive game world. Black Flag is my favorite. Now, that was a big game world, but the way it was broken up was different. But this takes it back to like the first couple, especially the first one. I forget the dude's name you play. Is it going to have his name here? But there's little twists and turns and stuff, but you're doing the classic climbing, running around, hiding, sneaking around stuff, assassinating people and all that stuff that makes these games fun. I like this one quite a bit, actually. And it looks great as well. Final 2, Plague Tale Requiem. This is the sequel to Plague Tale Innocence. Really cool game. It looks amazing. You're back as what are their names? God, I forgot their names. Oh. Hugo is the brother's name. What is her name? Amicia. I think her name is Amicia. You come across these two people as well here. She's a ship's captain. This other guy kind of was hunting you and then helps you. Cool game. It's like a stealth game. You gotta be smart. You're hiding and you gotta distract enemies. You can friggin' smack them. You can set their torches on fire or put them out and then the rats get them because the plague rats have found it. You're living an alright life and then the plague rats come again and they're following Hugo because you use Hugo as occasionally you can control the rats. You can also take people out as well. Your mother's in this one too. I'm not going to spoil what happens to some of the characters. Game world looks great. It's a depressing story. I'll also say that. It does not end on a high note. The combat's fun, but you want to do a lot of stealth, but you can get into fights, but you'll usually get overwhelmed. It's just a really cool game, and it looks really good. These are good characters. Both of them are good. They have a nice little brother-sister relationship, which is cool. I forget, your buddy's in there, too. The other, he's studying under your mother. I forget his name. You run around with him, too. Sometimes he's annoying because, you'll kill someone. I'm like, I can't believe you did that. As these enemies have been killing people constantly and stuff. It's like, Amici almost sometimes gets pissed. Like, shut up, dude. I'm going to kill whoever I want. Really cool game. And the final one, Alan Wake 2. I need to go back to this. I did play a bunch of it, but you use this new woman here. I forget her name, Saga Anderson. You do play as Alan Wake also, and he's cool too because from the first one, and this has the expansion stuff in it as well, which I played some of, which one was called, the Night Springs one. I played some of that. You play as this woman who's in love with Alan Wake, and you go through this thing. It's more combat oriented. It's pretty fun, though. You come as Saga Anderson with the other guy who's in the Alan Wake novels. It's based off him. It's the guy who plays Max Payne. It's his voice, the guy who does Max Payne's voice, I think. But I think it's the guy who does Max Payne's voice, who's since passed. But it has Sam Lake's look, the guy who is modeled after Max Payne as well. I'm pretty sure. I can throw it back in. But use Alan Wake when he's still stuck in the, whatever they call it, the dark or whatever. But you're doing stuff in that kind of world and as well. And then there's other people that are popping up in there. It's been cool. I put it down to play Silent Hill 2 because Silent Hill 2 is going to take over. I do need to put this back in though. Because you found Alan Wake and pulled him out, and then you're doing other things with Alan Wake, in the world, this other world. I forget what these things are called and stuff, but it looks great. Voice acting's good. Combat's pretty fun. And you're doing, as Saga Anderson, you go to her little mind thing, whatever they call it, the mind something, and you're figuring out stuff on the clues with the case and stuff, so it's kind of cool. Her mind something, does it tell you on here, I don't know if it blazes trails in video game storytelling. It seems like a pretty good story, but, it's the same thing with, was it The Last of Us Part 2 or something? Sets the bar for gameplay storytelling. What? No, it doesn't, dude. It's been done in tons of mediums a million times. I like Last of Us 2 story well enough, but it didn't set the bar or some shit. But this is still a really good game. But yeah, that's my PS5 collection. Like I said, I want to keep expanding it out further because it's the newest console. I'm going to be using this one for a while, even after the PS6 comes out. But yeah, thanks for checking this out, and have a good day.